What kind of idea is that?
So, with the table legs, I like the country style one that we did that was pretty simple, but not simple at the same time. But, I sent you that video of me forming the tubing up here at work, and, my boss man was like, hey, you can use this stuff, if you use it for yourself, all the wire and all that kind of stuff is free, any of the consumable stuff. He goes, if you use it for your own little projects or something, it's all free, except for the metal. We need the volumes. So, yeah. And so I was like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, I'm always about helping out and all that kind of stuff. He says, you just purchase your metal and all the consumable stuff is free to use, up here. And, but anyways, I was forming that tubing that I was seeing the video on, and as it was making that slight curve, it was like a 2-inch, 2.25-inch offset from end to end to the middle. And I thought, dude, that would be super cool if I made, some some table legs to where they weren't straight up and down or just crisscross. They actually had, bent legs that kind of come out from the center or the side, maybe even join two of them together to kind of make them look like a V.
Just like we were talking
about the cab guard.
Yeah. How those are formed.
But be a leg instead of just a simple X.
Yeah.
On this last one, they could
A
curve.
A curved X.
Like almost like the figures, like the cakewalk games, the people, almost looks like that.
Or you have, in the corner of your table, we have our little L bracket that mounts to the corner underneath the table. And then in the two outside corners, we have two curved pieces coming out, curved out, so they would start, inwards and then curve out to the bottom to get close, future of a straight line from the table. Edge corner down straight to the floor, like with a plumb bob. Mm-hmm. That was kind of like my next design.
But even those ones that have the arcs, like the half moons, like the 4 half moons.
Yeah.
Anything that can bend in a radius arc.
Yeah, in that. So if we made them out of if we cut a pattern out of sheet metal, and then curved it in that those rollers. We can make some pretty cool vision table legs.
Oh, even out of sheet metal too, I suppose.
Yeah, we can form, and we can create some like crazy alien looking pattern, and then form them.
That's got like 6-inch feed wheels on it, doesn't it? It's pretty good size.
Yeah.
It's gas powered?
6, 8, 10, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. No, it's electric over hydraulic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll
change driven. Yeah.
You don't want to get
it worked great.
You don't want to get a finger in there.
No. No. Feed it the metal and step away. Uh-huh. And I learned something about that. The boss man was kind of going over it and teaching me. Say you have a piece of pipe and you set it in there, and you bring the rollers down to it, and then you crank it like an 1/8 turn or a 1/4 turn. Say that puts a 1-inch into it.
In 10 feet or something.
Yeah, and
whatever
so
it is.
when you roll it through, it'll be set at maybe 3/4, but once you roll it back through the other way, without moving the settings, it'll bring it to 1 inch. So you can keep rolling that back and forth until it relieves the pressure and the rollers start slipping because there's no more tension. It's already ran it back and forth as many times as you want. I mean, it's slower than fuck, but
it's taking all the give out of it.
It takes all the give, all the pressure out of it. And so if you rolled it through and rolled it back and it's still not where you want it to be, you can roll it through and roll it back and maybe it'll be closer. But if you set it at a certain tension to where you roll it through one time and it got you there, you know, that's the fine tuning part of it. You know, if you can find it, because if you roll it through, check it, not quite it, and then you give it some more tension and roll it through again, and then it's perfect. Well, if you say it gave you the 2 inches, right? If you took a straight piece, right, and then fed it through the settings that you just rolled the last tube in, that you got to be 2 inch, it'll roll it at 3 inches offset. And so the best thing to do is to put a piece through. If it didn't quite give you what you wanted, after you adjust it, set that piece aside, put another piece through, and see what one pass will give you, you know, and then you can go back and put that other tube back through, you know, or deal with that one last. Oh, we didn't quite get enough bend, but I adjusted a little bit, because every time you adjust it, if you put a pre-curved piece in, it's not going to actually give you the same radius as if you took a new straight piece and ran it through the one time.
It has a little bit of bounce back.
Yeah, so you might go through 2, 3, 4 pieces until you get the desired bend on one pass through. You know, so that's kind of.
It would be a shame if they had to get rid of this.
No, you don't. But you can go back and readjust
Yeah,
it.
if any of those ever went sideways.
Yeah. No, you say you bent it too much, you can run it back through the other direction and get some of the bow back out.
For a table leg or something, it doesn't really matter. You could use scrap or remnants or anything. You get to make some crazy sculpted center leg or something.
Yeah, but yeah, it was kind of giving me an idea when I was rolling that. I was like, well, he said I could use any of the machinery to do anything I wanted, you know. So, you know, I thought it would be awesome.
It's a good way to pattern some of that, like, because it's hard to just lay it down flat on the cement floor or a little welding table and get some of those complicated patterns and templates made that can be reproduced pretty easily with the right equipment.
Come up with a general pattern in a 2D state, and then join them together and box them all in. So you probably have to do, like, you get a pattern that you like, you do 2 sides, tack them together, and then, you know, see what it's going to take to fill in the back side, in other words. You know, you just kind of have to go from there. But yeah, like those other legs that we were looking at that had these crazy curves and patterns, and, you know, I don't know if I want to get that crazy, but, you know, I thought.
If you're bending it, though, it doesn't really matter, because you can feed it through the saw, however, and get any kind of curve, or, you know, take any amount of curves, and then just cut the bottoms off flat.
And and sheet metal would be easy to manipulate. You know, I guess the curve that you put in it, say you put a curve in the plate when it's 2-dimensional, when you bring those 2 mirrored image curves together, you know, whatever that radius comes out to be is whatever it's going to be. In sheet metal, I guess unless you had some crazy bend, you know, you're going to get the profile when you join those 2 pieces together of the curve that you put in it, because they have to meet up.
If they match.
They would be 2 mirror image pieces, and, you know, and you would put them together. So whatever curve you put in it, when those come together, the curve this way is, you know, it's going to be that.
It's going to create a bell shape.
Well, it's going to be that one that you put, you know, the cut that you put into it. Right. Oh, we're getting a phone call. Let's see. Hello. Oh, we're talking about table legs and all that kind of stuff. What you doing?
So you want to make some more of those legs?
Well, I mean, you know, if you have a customer that wants the square ones, cool, we'll do those. But I thought about making some table legs, you know, that had those curved tubing.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I think they would look bitchy.
I think it would look real cool.
You would just have that L piece like we were talking
I'm
about.
gonna get some paper. Hold on a second.
Yeah. All those speakers. Yeah, so kind of what I was originally thinking. See if I can draw up to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, the speaker enclosures are interesting 3D printing material.
So this would kind of be like an end view. So they would look like that, you know, from the end. You know, but if you're looking at it directly from the corner, we'll go to this side. I guess if you're, you know, say this is the corner. shallower width-wise on the top, but you would have
But it would be
like if you were looking on the corner like this. Yeah, and it would be inset. I mean, they might be more or less, a little bit closer together, like say, like that. I mean, you can go like any width you want, but they would be curved because the tubing would be formed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I would love it instead of curving it square ways like that, if we could curve it diamond ways to where the bend was,
Yeah, 45
like,
to the
like
corner.
that, you know what I'm saying? But I think, all I can do in that machine is curve it like that.
Well, this what I was thinking
It'd be
was,
kind of cool.
I was thinking this. Show it to the camera real quick.
Oh, yeah. See?
There you go.
Like a dual curved table leg.
So what I was thinking was those ones like this. And, depending on how much is.
Is that something we would do like out of tubing or?
So, maybe some sort of mounting, on the top here.
Kind of like a Gemini symbol.
It doesn't
But
have to be
without
that
the- yeah.
shape, but when you said that, that's what I had in.
Yeah, like this was the tubing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
they
you
don't
could
have to
do it
necessarily.
any kind of way.
They don't have. They could be joined together here. They could be made. I suppose.
And that would be like, together at the end of the table there.
Yeah, you could. The ones that they do the four. They're like that. And, there'd be one. You basically put 4 half moons together.
Oh, yeah, like in the center of the table?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
center,
yeah.
and then you end up with these 4 corners.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that. I mean, with having those arcs, it makes all that stuff available.
Yeah, I like the. Yeah, I kind of just immediately thought of that, because we were going to, split them, and we were going to have an L shape.
And then you use the 2 corners for.
Yeah, and then you would use. We'll see, like this design here you would have, they would mount, on our L piece, our corner of our table, they would mount, these would be in the corners.
So they'd be out of the corner about 6 inches or 8 inches.
Yeah, and then as they went down and curved in, they would land and meet together. It would curve down towards the center of the table down here and meet down here.
So it would only have one curve.
And each one, each tube would have the same curve, and then they would
Meet at the outside.
like say this we were going to build on a table, we'd have them right here. Say the table was upside down, they would go like this.
Right.
And join together at the bottom of the legs.
And they'd be out in the corner.
And they'd meet with the corner. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It kind of gives it that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a bitchin'.
And it can be a smaller tube. It could be a 3-inch. It doesn't need to be as.
Well, it could be a 2-inch.
Or 2 inch, a smaller tube.
2 inch, 2 by 2 by 1/8 inch.
Because you're doubling them
wall.
up.
Yeah, I mean, and they'll look more elegant. I think they would look
Right.
really elegant together.
Yeah, if you could get them in there at 45.
We'd probably only need like
I suppose you could cut them at a 45.
a 3-inch offset.
There probably is a way to turn that, like you said, like the 45. To make it look like
You
a
can.
diamond shape.
I mean, I don't know anybody that. What would be also very cool is if you could bend that pipe, right? Bend it to that bend.
Mm-hmm.
And then also twist it like a quarter turn.
That's what I was.
But I don't know if it would like hold its curved profile once you twisted it. You would probably have to twist it first and then try to curve it, but you wouldn't be able to do that because you'd have to. If you did that, if you twisted it a quarter turn, you'd have to like put it inside of a piece of pipe and then put it through the roller and then cut away the tube. But it just sounds like an expensive way to make it. So I think when I thought of this design, I thought, man, I might have to make that.
Well, I like doing the ones that we can make patterns of. And you can always deviate from them, if there's some reason, or make a different design out of them or whatever.
Yeah.
But it makes it more profitable to build them, and it also makes it less expensive, to purchase one. So.
Well, and I don't mind, because you're essentially curving these, and then you have two cuts, and then you put it together and weld it, and then you just have your flat bar pieces on top, That is pretty easy.
It's easy in the sense.
And I don't think that these, that would be elegant and not too complicated.
It's easy if you have a roll press and.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
I do. The guy told me I could use it anytime I want.
So that makes a big difference in a welder and everything put together, and be able to
a block away.
Be able to cut and grind out. That makes these little projects a lot more appealing.
Yeah. So I can cut them, bend them, and then bring down here and chop those angles, because when they come to meet together, you want to slice it from end to end on the end. Yeah, so they come together and look like one together. Yeah, one, a two by two.
It's always nice to put like a round, a round cutout or something on the bottom of them as a foot.
You could, you wouldn't need to, because you could cap it easily.
You could cap it too, but you could put a foot on, so it looks like it's kind of going out and then has a surface to sit on.
Well, these will be starting here and be inverted out to it.
But like the clawfoot, a clawfoot tub, or
that's kind of how. And I would just assume cap it just like we did, those other ones.
Yeah. I want to. I ran ads this week on with that other one.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it.
But
I'd like to build a couple and start replacing these and put these back in the shop.
Yeah. I would definitely like to build a set, of 4 of those legs, and then whatever table you want to put them on, or we could just have them for sale too, unless you have another table come in and go, hey, and I'm gonna say, hey, we have these cool legs we already built,
Right.
So it's like, would you like these, or would you like just the square tubing ones or the X ones, those, Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I can make these, and these would be.
The color's hard because it'd be nice to just have powder coat. If you do them white, somebody will want them black.
Black's
if
safe.
You do them black,
Black
somebody
is
will want them white.
Black is always safe, and they actually the powder coating actually has, some of them have glitter or color changing.
Well, that's where it gets.
Or hammered black. There's a hammered black you know, so it looks like wrought iron, you know. So, I mean, powder coatings get pretty crazy, and I probably don't even know the half of it about it. But you know, what I have seen get
It's pretty
coating.
impressive.
I was like, holy shit, that's not paint, you know. No, it's powder coating, you know.
You don't have to grind it.
Yeah, so I'm like, that looks awesome.
Filled it with powder.
Powder coat everything. And oftentimes it's cheaper than
It is.
It's durable. It's more durable.
It's
and
a good
it's cheaper
finish.
to, you know, than having something painted. So
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
well, it looks like we got somebody outside. Yeah. And we got a customer and whatnot.
Needing that hardware.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of what I thought about as far as table legs for the future. You know, and if you got any other ideas, you know, that you want to try to do, we can have it made up.
Well, you were talking about those cab guards because that fits right in that. That works right through that press too.
What's that?
Cab guards, pick up
Yeah,
cab guards.
yeah, it makes it a lot easier. I don't have to pay a guy to make those.
Drag around town to.
But yeah, I definitely think that, you know, I think tomorrow, I don't know if my buddy wants to come down, but I was thinking we would pick a truck to do one for us so that we have one. Oh, and because of the curved thing idea, we have the cab guard, you know, which is curved, has its curved thing. So say we're looking at it from the side, you know, and then we'll have a tube down here, and then we'll have our angle. It's going to sit on its angle iron. I also thought I would curve some tubing. Instead of doing a plated gusset, I would do a curved tubing on the side as a gusset.
You know, it'd be cool if you had
You know
a big piece of pipe or a bigger piece of pipe, whatever that. Or just it's just a thought, but that angle right there, and you got that coming up. If you had a piece of pipe that you could cut in half, form it, and then split it and use it as a gusset, but not have the pipe on the other side, not have an open. No.
Oh, it's like channel. Yeah,
It's
a lot of
closed in
people
like
do
a-
that,
like
but
a-
I think it being open kind of, I don't know, to me it looks cheap.
That's what I mean. To closing it, you'd close it all the way to the corner. You'd have to use a bigger diameter pipe and then pinch it in.
In kind of my thought process, I like it being open for some reason, having that open corner. It kind of makes it look like, Baja style rig. You know what I'm saying? And also makes it stronger. So if people are like, oh,
I guess you can put a rope through there and you can use it for a tie down.
Well, that is one thing. Is I was going to do a small clip, like on the inside of that, where it is open, putting in a little eye or a clip of some type,
But if
where they can hook something to
if
that.
it was tubing and if it was radius in there, but it was open between here and the where it sits on top of it, you can always throw a rope through there. But just make smooth corners, like smooth it on the inside, fill it a little bit or whatever, so the rope doesn't get caught in there.
Right.
But that would make a great hold down. I mean, you could strap down anything on there.
Yeah, I mean, and for side gussets too, I thought, well, maybe I'll just.
That would be the gusset.
Yeah, maybe I would just do plate, to where, you have your triangle plate that still has a radius, and then you did some geometrical cutouts, say like that, And I mean, a lot of people have that kind of stuff on their products, They have it spider webbed out, to where it.
Oh yeah, cut them out on a plasma or something.
Yeah, well, and I could do it by hand with the plasma cutter up there. I just lay out the lines that I like and put little radiuses in the corners so that looks nice and finished. And I could plasma it out by hand and then go back and clean it up with a die grinder, and boom, you're done. But I thought to make it easy,
Small ones, not big old.
Yeah, it's about 8x6.
It's one of those pickups that used to have the Like it came down behind the cab, you know.
It was like built into
the '90s stuff. Yeah. Crazy.
But
kind of like an avalanche, but before
added on feature, you know, and then that would, you know, you would weld that onto your cab guard deal, and and then have your angle come out and have that all nice and pretty and beveled and all that kind of stuff too. So yeah, you know, maybe tomorrow we'll mess around with getting the cab guard fitted to a pickup. I just hadn't decided which one do I do. You know, I almost thought about. I told Andrew, I says, hey, let's build a cab guard for your pickup because he has the new Tacomas. You know, and there's not a whole lot of tab guards for smaller pickups, but I'm sure people would love them. You know, and
I wanted one, but
yeah.
You know what we should build it for is that Gen 1 Dodge.
That one, I would like to
that for some reason, I think that radius hits that hood perfectly.
I would like to do, when I was kind of thinking about that older truck, and I'd like to do one that has more flat bar, 3/8 flat bar, incorporated in like old kind of new school.
Kind of a louver
new school with like, you know, old style fixtures in it, you know, and I think with that one we'd have, you know, our curves and everything, but I'm thinking about a little bit smaller tubing.
I remember we talked about this, the
3-inch
on the small pickups.
Yeah.
They almost have to be aluminum, I think.
I don't know.
Because like that one I have is aluminum bed.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Oh, all Ford trucks now are all aluminum. Yeah.
So, because I tried building one for it, but the metal just didn't work out. And I think most of them are pretty lightweight.
Yeah. I mean, these cab guards probably weigh, you know, I would say probably about 200 pounds.
Right.
Or 150 to 200 pounds.
I think that's the small truck limitation why you don't see a lot of them.
Yeah, I see a lot of people that made like just homemade
I know the fallers, like timber cutters and stuff, will usually have some small little.
But these are designed just a little bit more sleeker, a little bit more cooler. I mean, they got some really cool options online, but these cab guards I don't want to stick a mile above the cab. I just want them to be flush. But if someone wants something different and they say, oh yeah, I want these little ears on there so I could throw wood up there and it kind of keeps, you know, sure, whatever you want, man, you know. But
there's people that do. They put lights on them. They put the
overload signs on them.
They're
removable.
Those are pretty handy when you can put them on a switch. And the only thing that would be better is if you could actuate them up and down.
Yeah, I thought about. Well, I've seen Kai do cool stuff to him all the time. But I thought about just even a cable-driven one where you had a T-handle or a knob on the side where you pull it out and turn it, and it pulls the cable and it's wrapped around and hooked to the rod on the other side, and it lifts it up as you turn it. I don't know what that looks like as far as leverage. You would almost have to do like a little mock-up deal. Or I thought about just a lever that you unhook and turn and lock in or switch, you know, that way you had more leverage on it, you know, and kind of hide it on the inside or the backside of it or something of that nature. But
yeah, you never really know until you use it.
Yeah, it's going to take some finagling.
Because I've seen 100 of them, you push on them and the clip doesn't clip on this side, or it doesn't clip on this side, you're driving and it falls down, or you can't find the light switch.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, but yeah, we could put lights in them. I'm still trying to figure out, you know, which one I think, you know, and the hard part of it is they're almost truck specific because even the beds vary an inch or so.
Oh, the width, the cab height.
The width,
the actual bed rail width.
Yeah,
is different.
You know, so it's like you almost have to pick it for a certain generation of truck. But I want to get one made that is driving around all the time, and people will ask questions about, hey, I want one of these, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't know about what happens when you put a metal cab guard on a Ford box these days.
I've seen it done. It doesn't. It's not so heavy where it's going to distort the bed or anything like that. I mean,
I don't know what the purpose is.
Yeah,
I don't know if it just tears away.
Yeah, it's not going to affect anything. It's just it's there to protect your cab and your window.
Because I know they have a lot of aluminum ones for those.
Yeah,
which seems
I mean,
like a
you
good
can
fit.
make it out, but it's just like twice the cost to build one out of aluminum than it is steel.
And it seems like a pretty good fit to make it out of aluminum. So that's probably not a good target market, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, and then we'd have to have a spool gun and argon and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So it's like until
I'm sure
we're older.
Protec, some of those places, they seem to have it down pretty good for all the new rigs.
They do, yeah. I mean, well, they every time there's a new generation of truck, they get the dimensions and everything.
So I think the purpose-built ones, or the people that have what do those pickups look like? I mean, there's a lot of Dodges.
Yeah,
There was, I don't know. There's a lot of Fords
Dodge,
these days.
Chevy, and Toyota's not really in the game as far as like where we are. They're more personal vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
People don't buy Toyotas hardly ever for logging companies or construction companies or any of that kind of.
I mean, there's a lot of them used for it.
Small time.
Well,
maybe, but as far as some of these big time companies.
Yeah, the people spending money on cab guards, it's probably the Fords, Chevys, Dodges.
Yeah. You're gonna see a lot of Chevy.
It's going to be a lot of the stuff that the Protec thing already covers.
Protec.
On the new pickups. If you're talking logging, if you're talking heavy equipment, it's new trucks. They already got that market corner. Unless they want something, flashy or different,
Well, that's what this is we build flashy and different.
Right.
Not just your basic.
But what I am thinking of, like that Gen 1 Dodge that has, I'm sure
That's something I would put
I
cool
can probably
lights
find
in.
something that would halfway fit on it. But I bet you
Right.
I can't. I
It's
bet you
not
I'd spend a
gonna
bunch
fit.
of time on Marketplace
Yeah.
and all over. I don't think you can buy an off-the-shelf one for that, and I haven't seen any of them.
No, I mean
I've
you
seen a
would
couple
just
on a
get,
pickup or two.
Yeah, you would just get you would measure your bed width and then make sure that the cab guard will fit in there and not have crazy amount of overhang or underhang, but yeah, I mean, and I bet the ones that you get online, they probably say, oh, it'll fit this generation of truck,
Mm-hmm.
and they're probably mostly targeting trucks that are 25 years or newer.
Well, I think there used to be some companies that did them. What were those? These old, D and W pickups. They had the gas versions of them. They would always hang the KC lights on them and all that. Well, they were putting those on something, but I don't know who made. They weren't really headache racks, so they were like
More of like light bar.
Yeah, like light bar,
brackets and
rally bar things.
Bumpers, front bumpers.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff
round
like that,
pipe, the round tube, the 80s steps. So you see on step sides, Casey lights all over it.
Oh, yeah.
They sold stuff like that, but for those pickups, but I just don't ever remember seeing many cab guards.
Yeah. No, maybe it wasn't. They figured back window got smashed. The back window got smashed.
Well, I know people built them.
Yeah.
If you wanted one, you just built one.
Basic square tubular, things.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think there's any that are like produced, and I don't think I haven't seen that many on that generation of rigs. Even though there's a big restoration market in them, or a big enthusiast market in them.
I only know one guy that builds cab guards that are very, very similar.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've looked at that one that close, but that piece of pipe that you had bent, I'm just betting it's like I bet you it's just like in my head I'm looking at the back of that cab and I'm looking at that piece,
it looks
and I bet
very,
you
very close to it. Yeah, same thing. You know, I bet with most of these pickups, except for some of the very new Chevys and GMCs, they're kind of going more square, back square. And but you know, some of the trucks in the last 40 years, those cabs had that slight curve to them, and it just looks way better. It just flows a lot better. And yeah. That's what when I had that tubing bin, I based it off of my black pickup. You know, I thought, okay, well, you know, it has that curvature, and a lot of them I know.
it's got a real common profile.
Yeah, and those are trucks that people can sort of kind of afford to buy. You know, they're 13 years old. You know, people like me in my life, you know, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can finance a older vehicle like that and be able to afford it. You know, you're not buying a $60,000, $70,000 rig. And what's up?
I already got the wrong one. Which one were you guys having there?
Oh, we do all kinds of stuff. We're actually talking about some prototype cab cars that we're going to get to start building. Do lots of woodwork, 3D print, and anything else that you want. You know? And that's about it. What are you needing today?
I don't know.
Just looking around?
I need a present.
Present?
Present,
Well, we got a few presents over there. Yeah. Well, I'm best to be getting going and
Yeah, we shut the stream
do
off.
some football watching and some beer drinking.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut this off and we'll pick it back up later.
All righty.